General Manager TVB Anywhere Sales in Australia to give a speech.
服務大家多啲中文嘅電視嘅新聞啊drama 同埋全部可以帶多啲活動俾大家。咁今日好開心咧，我哋有兩位香港嚟自嘅紅星蔡思貝同埋姚子羚都到咗不過公園啦。咁一陣間嗰兩位咧都會同大家玩遊戲、唱歌，同埋有機會可能會去我哋嘅 TVB Anywhere 嘅檔。咁多謝大家嚟到今日嚟到Burwood公司 ，thank you。
Next, we welcome Councillor John Faker, Mayor of Burwood Council, to give a speech.
大家好，中秋節快樂 ！Happy Moon Festival. I'd like to say it's an honour to have the Premier here, attending and coming out once again to Burwood, to have our state and federal member, to Ricky and the team from TVB. 10 years we've been celebrating this festival, carnival here, celebrating the Moon Festival, which is a celebration of the harvest. And it's about coming together as family and friends like we do here in Burwood. It's a great example because we're the 5th most diverse community in the country. But it's also about giving thanks for the great contribution that we've been able to make throughout the year to come together, as I mentioned, as the year of the harvest, and also to ask for good fortune, because the Moon Festival is about celebrating and asking for good fortune. So TVB, 10 years now, been here in Burwood. It's a great festival. It's the biggest Moon Festival, I believe, in Sydney. And we want to continue to support events like this because it's about celebrating different cultures, about accepting people's diversity, and it's about seeing the traditions that our Asian communities have and celebrating that and sharing that and creating understanding. So welcome once again to Burwood. Premier, thanks for coming out again. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Our best Premier that we've had, and I know it's only short term, but the work that he's been doing and the listening that he's doing to our community is making a big difference. So thanks, Chris, for coming out, and thanks for being here. And to our 2 hard-working state and federal members also, who are continually out in the community working for our community. Happy New Year. Chung Chu Kwai La.
Next, we welcome the Honourable Chris Means, Premier of New South Wales, to give a speech.
Chung Chu Kwai La. Wonderful to see you all. Thanks, John. Thanks to TVB. It's wonderful to be here with my colleagues Jason and Sally, and of course the Mayor, John Faker, of this wonderful community. I'm not going to speak for long. My job is really just to celebrate this wonderful day with all of you, acknowledge the organisers of this event, and I think acknowledge how special community celebrations like this one are. Not just for Burwood, but right for Sydney and the state of New South Wales. We've created something so wonderful in Australia with our multicultural community, and events like this one, where we celebrate the harvest, and it's an ancient traditional celebration for Chinese communities, is one that those who don't have Chinese heritage can adopt as well. We can learn from your culture and apply it to this unique one that we have right here in Australia. Of course, this recognises the full moon, which is all about harmony and unity, which are wonderful characteristics that we have in this great state of New South Wales. So thank you for coming together, for bringing out your family to spend some time as a community. It's so good to be out in the sun and to have COVID behind us as well, where we can actually celebrate what a beautiful country we have in Australia, and I can think of no better way of spending a Saturday afternoon than here with you in Burwood, celebrating this important community festival. Thank you so much.
Next, we welcome the Honourable Sally Sito, Member for Reid, to give a speech.
大家好，中秋节快乐。Thank you to Ricky and the TVB team for holding this fantastic festival that has been going on for so long. They are part of adding the new chapters to the Australian story, the chapters that you are all part of as migrants. And we know that we are lucky to live in a country where that story, that Australian story, is one that stretches back 60,000 years, the oldest continuing culture in the world. And we have an opportunity later this year on the 14th of October to celebrate how wonderful this country is and all the richness and diversity and the history that we have here. When you get to vote in a referendum to recognise Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders in our constitution, and for us to listen to them so that we can get better outcomes for First Nations people. So I hope that you will join me in supporting that. But I wanted to thank you so much for being such an important part of the Australian story and for coming to events like this to celebrate the Moon Festival. It's important that we come together as a community, but it's also important that we share our traditions and cultures with other communities. And that is exactly what I will be doing. I'm going to be taking some moon cakes to Parliament House when I go next on Monday and sharing it with my colleagues, because I think it's so important that we celebrate the wonderful diversity that is Australia. I hope you have a lovely day.
Next, we welcome the Honourable Jason Yatsen Lee, member for Strathfield, to give a speech.
Thank you very much, everybody. I'm so proud to be the local member here, to be able to welcome the Premier and the Mayor John Faker and my colleague Sally Situ to celebrate Mid-Autumn Festival with us. I think Burwood has really become the epicentre of Chinese culture in New South Wales, thanks to the vision and the leadership of John Faker over there. And it's wonderful that in the great sunshine that we have here today, we can celebrate this traditional festival with our families. Let me say a few words in Mandarin. Cantonese is my main language, but I'll say a few words in Mandarin because we haven't had any Mandarin here today. 大家好，我叫李逸仙。我特别高兴今天收到TVB 和 TVB Anywhere 的邀请，参加今天的Burwood 的中秋节活动。我非常高兴我的同事陈莎莉，还有Burwood市长John Faker， 还有我们新州州长柯民思 Chris Minns 可以来到Burwood，跟我们一起共度中秋。那么这个在Burwood TVB 每年的这个中秋节活动呢，已经成为这个我们中秋节的那个启动仪式呢。这个就让我们大家都可以意识到这个传统的节日即将到来，我们可以准备好吃的月饼，跟我们家人一起团聚。所以在这儿。我提前祝福大家中秋节快乐，身体健康，万事如意。祝大家中秋節快樂，身體健康。多謝。
Lastly, we welcome Mr. Henry Mack, Acting Director of Hong Kong Economic and Trade Office, Sydney, to give a speech.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me today here, and I'm privileged to share the stage with the Premier of New South Wales, as well as fellow members of the Parliament. I think I just want to share with you the importance of the Mid-Autumn Festival to Hong Kong and Chinese communities. And as pointed out by the Mayor, we celebrate a very diversified community here in Burwood and in New South Wales as a whole. So this is a very important and traditional festival for us to celebrate reunions, family, friends, and love. But at the same time, it transcends traditional Hong Kong and Chinese culture already, because as we can see here today, there are a lot of communities here in Burwood Park. And this is so important for us to facilitate cultural exchange and arts exchange. And thank you TVB, and thank you for Burwood Council for putting this event together. And this Although my office is named as Hong Kong Economic and Trade Office, we do put a lot of focus and emphasis on promoting arts and culture exchange. And being in Burwood and being in New South Wales is a bless because we do celebrate a very diversified culture here, and we're always welcome and we're always friendly to see so many new faces in the city and in the state. So as the world is open up right now and we are way past COVID-19 as pointed out by the Premier, we do see a lot of tourists and friends and family traveling between Hong Kong, China and New South Wales and Australia as well. So I hope that we will all see our family and friends very frequently. We do travel a lot and then we get the economy and get the tourism back on track. So I'll just say a few words in Cantonese. 大家好，我係香港駐悉尼經濟貿易辦事處嘅麥瑞禧，好多謝大家今日嚟到 Burwood 呢一度支持 Burwood City Council 同埋 TVB Anywhere 嘅活動。咁我哋好榮幸，亦都係同 TVB Anywhere 一直有好多嘅合作。咁亦都係好支持佢哋喺推廣我哋香港、中國甚至係澳洲嘅文化入邊出咗好大嘅努力，亦都做咗好多嘅成績出嚟。咁好多謝大家今日出席同埋支持佢哋嘅活動。咁嚟緊嘅日子，希望我哋咧有更加多嘅機會可以見到大家，繼續推廣我哋唔同嘅文化嘅交流。多謝大家，中秋節快樂，身體健康。Thank you.
Please welcome Cicely Choi and Elaine Yu. Now I would like to ask our VIPs of honor to come forward for a group photo with our guests from Hong Kong along with TVB Anywhere's mascot bee.